Hi, my name is Yo Hat Dog. YOHATDAWG. And what do I do for work? I'm a streetwear, headwear, craftsman, designer, artist, creative, and I run a studio here in Los Angeles on Melrose Avenue. And I'm gonna tell y'all how much money I make, and I want you guys to get insight on what it's like to start your own business, a fashion business, and I'm going to talk about some of the obstacles, the doors that have shut, the many lessons I've learned, many of the mistakes I've made, of course, how much money I've made. I'm going to talk about some of the joys, what else? The rewards, the benefits, because we all want benefits and rewards, right? I mean, that's kind of one of the joys of life, is to have rewards and benefits, whether it's monetary rewards or personal gains, spiritual development, personal development. We all want rewards to have our dreams, our goals, our aspirations come to life. So I'm going to talk about all of that on this channel. I have been watching some channels on YouTube. One guy in particular, Dante, who talked about just being yourself and I'm just gonna be unapologetically me. That's the easiest thing for me to do, but the hardest thing for me to do, and that's kind of the human experience. But anyway, I want you guys to tap into what it's like to start your own fashion brand and to learn from me, because I've made a lot of mistakes. I've had a lot of obstacles, a few here recently that has really challenged me to my core. And so I'm going to share all of that with you on this channel. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to spell it out exactly as it is. Because as a human being, as a person, I want to retract sometimes of who I am and not really be my unapologetically self. And I just want to dive into all the things that I've done along the way, like running a studio, trying to make money, kind of what that's been like. And the hope is always to help someone else. I mean, that's always been one of the greatest gifts for me. Because I've been a person that has been determined in my life, and I've kind of make things happen, but I've also been a person that procrastinates and sits on my hands sometimes. And so, I'm a human, and the bottom line is I'm gonna just be me. I said that already, but I'm just gonna be me. And I believe the best way that I can help someone else is to just be me. Because I realize through a lot of pain and suffering that first, I don't look like what I've been through, but that all the challenges that I've had in my life can benefit someone else. The things that I have guilt about, or many of the things I feel shame about, has happened because it's designed to expand my reach, to reach more people, to help. And it's taken me a long time to really see how I can transform the things in my life that really looked to me as shame and guilt and I shouldn't have did this and I wish I had did that, to ultimately experiences that I can really talk about, that can help someone else. And I know that I have a purpose here on earth. And so, because my purpose on earth is not just to like go to work, get money to buy clothes, to wear to work, to like get a car, to drive the car to work, to like, eat food and like be with my family and friends and like, and Alexa just went off, so cancel Alexa. So anyway, I'm gonna be unapologetically me. I'm not editing that. So anyway, Alexa, cancel. so so anyway, um, I'm not gonna like. I forgot what I was saying, but like, that's a good thing because I'm human. Oh, I know, like just being the real me and the things that have happened to me or the things that I feel like, God, I should have did that different. Like running a studio, opening up a headwear, streetwear business. Like there's a lot of things that I would have done differently. There's a lot of things that I wouldn't have done. There's a lot of like things that I've learned along the way that I was like, God, I should have did that. There was a lot of doors that opened but I didn't see, like it was like the hand of God, like reaching out, like the lifeboat for me to get in. I just like kind of dissected, and then there was some risk involved, and I didn't like get in. And I believe everything happens like the way it's supposed to happen in life. Like nothing's happening to me, everything's happening for me. So there's no really lifeboat or hand of God that I should have gotten into or grabbed the hand of. I didn't grab it because I wasn't supposed to grab it. And the more I tell myself that, like there's no shoulda, coulda, wouldas in life, or I wish I had done this, I wish I had done it, I feel peace. But I'm also a human, and I want to like, beat myself up, especially running a studio. There's rent that has to be paid. There's like insurance and cost involved, and like, and so, it's like making mistakes and not being able to always meet those requirements can be really scary. And so anyway, the value that I want to bring to this channel is, like I said, being me, to really talk about what it's like being running a studio, a business that has given me a lot of discovery, a lot of lessons learned, a lot of challenges, a lot of, oh, you know what else, you guys, a lot of tears, a lot of sleepless nights, just a lot of pain. And what I believe is that pain is all necessary so that you can transform from the pain into like your greatness, and really tap into your greatness. Because that's really what it's done for me. Like, for example, if you have a dream, and say your dream is to start a fashion brand, or you want to start your own t-shirt brand, or your own hat brand, or your own, do you want to do dresses or swimwear, denim wear, whatever it is that you want to do, that it's all possible. What has prevented me is fear. Like, you know what? Fear has been my biggest obstacle. It has, like, fear has prevented me from moving myself to the next level. It's prevented me from like taking risks. It's prevented me from like being my true self many a times. It's disabled me. And so why am I telling you all this? Because part of this is what happens when you have big dreams and big goals and big aspirations, that fear will kick in and it can take over. And that's not just if you have big dreams and goals, it's part of the human experience. And the idea and the goal is to push through the fear. And so that's why I'm here to just like, when I was watching this video and this guy, Dante, was talking about, just be you. I heard him and his girl say that like 8 different times in that video. And so, yeah, just being me and sharing my experience can like help you. And so as I talk about all the fears that I've had and what has prevented me, you know, my hope is that it helps someone else to push through their fears. And anyway, so like I said, like I'm a streetwear, headwear designer, and so back in, let me tell you a little bit about the backstory. So ever since I was a little boy, I always wore hats, and I have loved hats all of my life. And when I was like, I remember it was somewhere between 10 and 12, I had got this plastic fireman hat. And you all know those plastic fireman hats. We've all seen them when they're like red and hard plastic, and it has this like badge, a yellow badge on the front. I got one of those, and I remember putting that on my head, and I was like I felt like I was on fire, literally. Like I always wore that hat. My mother was, you know, she would always, I remember going in the house with that hat on my head, and boy, take that hat off your head. Don't wear the hat in your house. And I resented her for that. But anyway, I love that hat, and I used to wear it all the time. I remember being outside, like in the backyard, playing with my dog, and I would always have that hat on. Actually, I didn't want to be a fireman. I just loved the hat. And that was the first time where I had a hat where I really like just started to tap in and discover my passion for something in life. You know, like that I actually had like something inside of me that was drawing me to something outside of myself. And I loved that hat. And so over the years, I've always worn hats, different shapes, sizes, styles, all different types of hats. And there's many types of styles of hats, and too many to list. But anyway, and I realized over the years, like every time I'd wear hats, like it wasn't so always the hat itself, although I wore some incredible hats. It was about how I styled it. And it was like, you know, I would tilt it to the side a little bit, or like, you know, turn the brim upside down or a different way, or whatever I could do to like tailor it to like fit me and my style. And like there was this passion, and there's this fire, like that red fireman hat that I had, that I would just like, you know, how I displayed in my fashion and my style, like the hat. And so anyway, and like my friends and family, like people would look, I wouldn't see them for a while, and then I'd see them on the street or whatever. You know how you run into people and they would go, "You look different. What is it? Like, have you gained weight? Or wait a minute, you lost weight? Or what'd you do? Or you got contacts in your eyes?" Like what they would say, stuff like that. And then they would finally go, and I wouldn't say anything, and they would go, "Oh, you don't have on a hat." Because everyone who knows me, they always knew me to have a hat on my head. Like I always had a hat on, and I always do still. And even my hair, anyway, I'm not gonna get into that on this video. I've lost hair over the years, but even when I had hair, I always had a passion for hats. It don't matter. I ain't even gonna go into all that about, you know, being bald, because actually I am gonna talk about it for a minute. Hats are a great way to warm the head. Like if you're bald, like warm your head, or protect your head from the sun, like the rain, like it's, you know, hats have a lot of different functions. But anyway, I loved them, and I wore them, and my friends would see me differently when I didn't have one on, and I've just worn them for many years. So anyway, how does that relate to how much money I make, and, you know, starting your own business, and like the benefits and stuff? Well, one, how it relates is like I had a passion, and when I started, you know, my fashion brand, and what I do for work, it like, there was a fire and a passion and a motivation inside of me. It was like God-given. And yeah, so I just, you know, had it in my spirit, in my soul, in my blood, in my bones, like that motivation to like go after my dream. And so anyway, I'm gonna go back to like, so I talked about up until 2017. So in 2017, I was like, God, like, I want to like start my own headwear, have my own hat store, and like with my designs in them. But I didn't know how to sew. Like, I'm not a sketch artist, but I was like, but I can do anything I want to do, um, and so basically what I did was I started with just the brand, like what was a brand name, because I felt like if I had a brand name, it would motivate me. And so I started like thinking about that and praying about it, like what would be the brand name. And so I created a brand name, and at the time I was really excited about it. Um, but I didn't like think about like all the logistics with a brand name, because there's like the URL, there's like, you know, that domain name, there's like, you know, the getting the trademark, and there's all these layers and levels, or factors I should say, that go into a brand name. And I didn't have experience in that, and I didn't think about like, I didn't think it all the way through. Like, I didn't like think of like the bigger picture of the brand name. I like chose a name, and like, at the time I was excited about it. And I had this mentor, Mr. Zimmerman, and I went to my mentor, and I had got these hats. So let me tell y'all this story. I got these hats, right? And this was the beginning of like opening up a studio, and kind of this was pre-studio days. And so I had this brand name. I ordered these hats. I created this logo, and I put it on these hats, and I had this mentor, Mr. Zimmerman, and I went to see him for the first time, and I was like excited about this like box of hats that I had created, and so I laid them all out on his table, and he was sitting at his desk, and he was looking at him kind of funny as I was like laying them out. I mean, he didn't really have any facial expression. He was just like stoic. And so I put all the hats out on this table in front of his desk, and he looked at him, and he crossed his arms like this, and he was looking at the hats, and he said, "You know, young man, there's nothing special about these." And I was crushed. And I remember when he said that, I mean, literally my head went between my legs. My head went down between my legs, and I wanted to like crawl into a corner and just hide. Like I felt like, wow, I was so excited about this. And so he said, you know, there's nothing special about this. He goes, you need to go back to the drawing board. And I was just like, and then he asked me about the name of the hats. What was the name of the company, the URL, the domain name? And I told him, and he goes, do you have the domain name? And I said, no, it's taken. He goes, you know, you may want to reconsider that and the name. And then he goes, that's nothing special. And he told me that I needed to think outside the box, and to come up with something that was unique, unlike anything on the market. And he said, because this ain't it. That's what he said to me. And I was just like, okay. And I sat there and I listened to him, and I was crushed. I really was inside. On the outside, I was kind and I listened, but in the inside, you know, it was hurt. I felt, I don't know really what I felt. I felt less than and not good enough, and like that I tried, and like it's not good enough, and I'm no good. And so anyway, he's like, you know, it's got to be something outside the box. And like I said, this ain't it. And I took my hats and I packed them up, and I put them in a box, Ooh, this is getting me emotional. And I put them back in all the hats in the box. And I thanked him for his time. And just as I was just getting up and get ready to leave out the door, he handed me his card and he said, if there's anything that I can do to help you, call me, you know, and this is my direct number on here. And that was it. I left and I got in the car and I was just like I felt defeated, like crushed, like, and because what he had said to me was, if there's anything I can do to help you, you know, give me a call. But I heard, you know, you're a piece of shit. You're no good. And get the hell out of my office. And that's what I heard. And so I was driving home and I just started to bawl, like, and I was just like, I'll show him. Who does he think he is? He don't know me. And then I thought about what he said, that this was nothing special. And, you know, I had to come up with something different, unlike anything on the market. I'm not going to edit this video. I'm just going to post it. And so I heard him, heard his voice, unlike anything on the market. You got to go back to the drawing board. And I said, I will show him. And that's exactly what gave me the fuel to continue. So rather than the defeat that I felt and the less than and no good that I felt in that moment, it actually was the fuel to take me to the next step, which you have to come back to my channel for the next video, and I'll talk about what happened from there on as I drove home with my hats and Mr. Zimmerman's card. So come back to Yo Hat Dog so you'll get the next episode. So thank you. I